And if you guys care so much about my future...
Everyone hates AJ Soprano, but here's the uncomfortable truth. He might be the most realistic character on the show.
Why? I don't have to go to school, I'm suspended. You said I couldn't watch TV or play Nintendo.
For all the motorcycles, Nintendos, and private school tuition lavished upon him, Anthony Jr. Soprano amounted to little more than a cautionary tale in human form. His life is one long illustration of how indulgence without direction produces not a golden heir, but a quivering mass of entitlement and malaise.
Yes, she's working 2 jobs.
While Meadow, his sister, harnessed the same privileges and emerged competent, ambitious, and, at least cosmetically, driven.
See what this is mine? Yeah.
AJ remained proof that expensive toys and prep school uniforms do not raise a child. The contrast between the siblings is glaring.
Criminal law.
Meadow thrived in elite schools, clawed her way through the academic grind, and directed her intelligence, however opportunistically, into professional ambition.
I flunked out of school.
AJ, by contrast, never found his footing in school, squandered every advantage, and sought validation in video games, shallow friendships, and half-hearted stabs at identity. Where Meadow used privilege as a springboard, AJ treated it like a hammock. This divergence cannot be chalked up merely to individual personality. It was also a product of environment.
I mean, all that worry. Which private school?
Tony and Carmela poured their anxieties and aspirations into Meadow, grooming her as their ticket to legitimacy.
Burnwood Day, it's for troubled kids.
AJ received little more than contradictions. Stay out of the life, but somehow embody the strength of his father. Reject the mob, but measure up to its masculinity. Excel in school, but without any real guidance or encouragement.
We don't feel joining the army is in your best interest.
When AJ reached for identity, whether it was joining the military, exploring philosophy, or even becoming a video game developer, his parents ridiculed him into paralysis. Tony, a man who built his life on theft, violence, and shortcuts, expected his son to embody values he himself never practiced. The result was predictable.
Right? Yeah. Don't buy him anything big. We overindulge him.
A boy raised with every material comfort but deprived of structure, consequences, or credible role models.
You said I couldn't watch TV or play Nintendo.
Even when AJ expressed the simplest desires, like playing Nintendo with his father instead of celebrating over hot dogs, he was dismissed.
AJ didn't have to come to Sunday dinner.
AJ has a job.
His existence was a cycle of rejection, mocked when he showed ambition, berated when he lacked it, and perpetually compared to a sister who had both the brains and the drive he lacked.
I know my son, he's just lazy.
It is fashionable to dismiss AJ as spoiled or lazy, but this overlooks the systemic rot behind his development. He was indeed spoiled, yet never truly mentored.
And if he thinks he's going to get into East Stroudsburg State, he is sadly mistaken.
He was given every privilege, but no consistent belief in his potential. He was shielded from his father's world, yet offered no tools to build his own. He was, in short, the embodiment of parental failure dressed in Armani. Meadow, of course, was hardly unscathed.
She's interested in civil rights.
Her ambitions toward justice conveniently bent themselves toward wealth and social climbing.
It's Patrick Paris.
By the end, she was engaged to a mobster's son and angling for a career defending white-collar criminals under the guise of civil rights.
I've decided not to go to med school.
In this light, Meadow's trajectory looks less like moral triumph and more like pragmatic corruption with a GPA. But even her compromised adulthood makes AJ's floundering look worse. One cannot ignore the psychological dimension. AJ inherited Tony's depressive tendencies and anxiety, without any of the hardening that Tony's brutal upbringing imposed. Tony's traumas forged a predator. AJ's privileges produced a victim. The panic attacks, suicidal gestures, and constant lethargy were symptoms of a young man who, unlike his sister, never figured out how to weaponize intelligence, morality, or even rebellion.
I'm gonna do Spanish. I'll meet you by the trophy case.
He rejected nothing because he never truly committed to anything. And then there was the simple fact of aptitude.
I notice the glass rattles every time I walk to the laundry room.
Meadow was sharp, ambitious, and manipulative enough to use her environment to her advantage.
Anthony Jr., you get up!
AJ was neither intelligent nor driven. His attempts at responsibility, whether in football or schoolwork, collapsed almost immediately. He lacked both Meadows' ambition and Tony's cunning, leaving him stranded in mediocrity. The writers were unflinching in this depiction. AJ was not secretly brilliant or misunderstood. He was, quite plainly, not very bright. Yet to dismiss him as merely dumb is to miss the tragic core of his character. AJ was undermined at every turn by a father who projected onto him equal parts resentment and impossible expectations.
If there's no God, why was I born?
Tony, forever haunted by his own father's cruelty, replicated the cycle by tearing down his son's confidence in the name of toughening him up. Every time AJ reached for self-expression, Tony labeled him a stew-nod and shut him down. The boy's life became a series of small humiliations, compounding into paralysis. The irony is bitter. Tony often bemoaned the lack of strong male role models in his life, then denied his son the very support he once craved.
How is your mother?
She's dead to me.
He complained about being undermined by his mother and sisters, only to undermine his own son at every opportunity.
I want to go to Harvard or West Point.
Well, you may get to see them on television, but that's about it.
The scene in which Tony sneers at AJ's childhood dream of attending West Point captures the cruelty perfectly. Maybe you'll see it on television, Tony scoffs. And years later, AJ has so internalized the dismissal that he denies ever wanting it. Words, it turns out, can cripple more effectively than fists. Robert Eiler's portrayal deserves more credit than it receives.
He's got this dead streak in him.
He captured not only the slack-jawed lethargy of an indulged adolescent, but also the simmering depression of a young man raised in contradiction. In retrospect, AJ feels less like a side character and more like the writer's experiment in embodying millennial malaise.
And if you guys care so much about my future, then why don't you stake me?
A generation raised on privilege, paralyzed by expectation, and unable to reconcile inherited wealth with inherited guilt. In this sense, AJ was less a character than a diagnosis. The comparison to Holden Caulfield is apt. Both characters became lightning rods for projection.
She's got the world by the balls. Every fucking advantage.
Viewers mocked AJ's whining while failing to see the resemblance to their own adolescent floundering. The disdain AJ attracts is telling. Audiences detest him not simply because he is weak, but because he is uncomfortably familiar. He is what happens when wealth and neglect intersect, when every advantage becomes its own prison.
Or I could just be a fucking idiot.
It is easy, even satisfying, to brand AJ a fuck-up. Yet doing so absolves the very forces that shaped him.
He's fucking spoiled, that's all.
His parents spoiled him, dismissed him, and berated him into impotence.
Tell me what the fuck to do about my son.
His family heritage saddled him with expectations he could neither reject nor fulfill. His depression went largely misunderstood. His attempts at identity undermined.
He did cry for help. He's lucky I came home and heard him.
AJ's tragedy is not that he squandered his advantages, but that his advantages were a mirage. Hollow comforts masking a profound neglect of guidance, discipline, and belief.
Point is, I talked to little Carmine, and he's interested in developing it through his company.
He does.
By the series' end, AJ stumbles toward a future in little Carmine's absurd porn venture, a pathetic echo of Meadows' professional strides. Whether this marks the start of a rebound or just another dead end is left open. Perhaps it is too early to declare him a lifelong failure. At 21, he still had years to prove otherwise. But if the past is prologue, AJ Soprano will be remembered not as the son of a mob boss, but as the definitive portrait of wasted privilege.
A varsity athlete.
After all, he never had the makings of a varsity athlete. AJ never delivered. This channel will, if you subscribe.